Hello and welcome to our topic today of soccer. I'm Steve Kime, and I'm going to school because I get to learn a lot about soccer today. And my special guest is the assistant high school principal. He's also the men's and women's head soccer coach, and also the assistant football coach, Matthew Loafman. Matthew, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you this morning.
Remember you were here months ago talking Plainsman football. Well, let's talk something that's also near and dear to you, and that's soccer.
All right.
So, how's the teams looking?
Right now, we're looking very good. Both of our teams have scrimmaged multiple times. The girls are currently 4-1. They've outscored their opponents 11-1 in their 5 matches, and the boys have played 7 games, and they're 5-1-1. And they've actually outscored their opponents 27-4 thus far. So very excited about the way they look, kind of coming together, finding out what our strengths, weaknesses are, and getting ready for the regular season, which starts next week.
If you're not one of the young persons that, like a special guest that we'll talk to in a little bit, that has been playing since they were very small, what are you looking for into a potential soccer player, men and the girls' team?
I think
Besides somebody who wants to run all day long.
Sure. You certainly got to be able to run, and it doesn't matter what position you play. You've got to be fit, and that's one of the biggest things that we have to do. There are, in a lot of other sports, you can afford to maybe have guys that can rely on strength or can rely on just a simple skill. In soccer, you have to have both. You've got to be good both with the ball, and you've certainly got to be good with your endurance. Otherwise, you're really no good to us because 80 minutes is a long time to go 100 miles an hour.
Let me ask you this. In regards to the skill set, it's great to be a defender and to be able to kick the ball to the net or through the net. But how do you work on conditioning in soccer practice? Are you spending most of your time on skill development? Or do you just kind of weave in some,
We kind of split it up. I mean, we do weave in some things, obviously, but we split it up a lot. We'll do some skill work, some touch work, in which we're just focusing on our touch with the ball. And then we'll put in some drills also where we're doing a lot of conditioning while carrying the ball. And then, of course, we'll have times devoted to just simple conditioning and trying to get our heart rate up for a long period of time.
Sure.
So kind of mix it in.
And you said 80 minutes.
80 minutes.
I'm already tired thinking about 80 minutes.
Yeah. No timeouts, no stops. You just go for 40 straight before you get a break.
Well, you brought with you this morning 2 special seniors from the Enid Pacers, the women's team, and also individual from the Plainsmen soccer team. Let's talk about some of the key players that you have. Start with the ladies first. What are some of the key players?
Well, what's great about our girls is that we're very young. We have really right now we're starting just 2 seniors, and you got 11 starters in soccer. So we got 9 people that are coming back for sure next year. A couple of those are one of the young ladies that we brought this morning, Kime Archer. She's one of our starting defenders. Powerful presence in the back. Her job is to shut down anybody that is a threat on the opposite team coming in to score, and she does a phenomenal job at that. We've also got a young freshman, phenomenal player. She's already scored 4 goals in the 5 matches that we've played. Janet Moreno, only freshman, and she's probably going to be started for us for 4 years. So excited about her continuation in the program.
And you're thinking, does she have a twin sister?
Right, exactly. We're looking for people coming up related to her, but she is a phenomenal young player, scored some goals for us. But we've got just a great group of young ladies, and like I said, a young group that could be good for the next few years. On the boys' side, our guy that we brought this morning is Pedro Braga. Fantastic midfielder. He's from Brazil. So he has a great appreciation and a great understanding of the game, more so than most American kids. It's a different upbringing in Brazil, obviously, which pretty much from the crib they've got a ball on their feet. And he has a fantastic presence in the midfield, just able to control what's going on, control the offensive attack. And he actually scored a goal the other day against Edmond Santa Fe, which tied up the game for us. So he's a phenomenal player.
Sometimes, let's just say basketball or football, I say, well, key position is a quarterback. Got to have a quarterback. And then somebody else will say, no. you got to have a line. If you don't have a line, you don't have any kind of offense or defense. If you have that mindset and you talk about soccer, is there one key role that, boy, you've really got to have? Everybody's working together, but it's probably pretty even, isn't it?
That's what's phenomenal about this game is you have to have all cogs working together. And you can say that about football as well. But let's just say you've got a phenomenal receiver out there and a good quarterback. Well, if I can throw the ball up and let that guy go catch it, guess what? We get 7 points, regardless of how well the other receivers ran the routes or, regardless of how well the running back made the play fake, whatever the case is. In soccer, if you've got a weak point, it's going to get exposed. And so whether that's the keeper not doing a good job keeping things out of the goal, defense, if it breaks down, we can score 5 goals, but if the other team scores 6, it's no good. So it's got to be all working together as one unit.
Sure. My special guest today, as we're talking Enid Soccer, is head coach for both boys and girls team, Matthew Loafman. And also Matthew is assistant high school principal and also assistant football coach. Now, I had some real experts help me draft some questions, Coach, because I wasn't that fine-tuned to soccer. So if I say, what formation are you going to run? Does that make sense to you?
It does.
So what formation are you going to run?
We run a 4-5-1, which is that starting from the back.
Makes all sense to me.
Defense, you got 4 defenders, 5 midfielders, and then you have 1 attacking forward.
Now, would that be considered standard, or is that creative, or what?
No, not necessarily. Usually your typical formation is kind of what's a 4-4-2. So 4 defenders, 4 midfielders, 2 attackers. We've kind of packed the midfield a little bit more because we feel like if we can control the midfield, we're going to be more aggressive offensively and help our defense a little bit more. So we kind of pack the midfield a little bit.
And I assume, Coach, a lot of this formation has to deal with the skill level of your athletes.
Sure, it's based on our personnel, and we have a lot of midfield players, and so we utilize that strength and put a few more of those guys out there when we can.
Well, Coach, hang around for a couple of minutes because I want to meet 2 of the special athletes that you brought, and we'll get their input on what Enid Soccer means to them, and then we'll come back and close the show, okay?
All right, sounds good.
So hang on for a moment. We'll learn more about these special athletes, and we'll be back with the coach in just a moment. Welcome to our program today. I'm Steve Kime, and we are going to talk soccer, Enid Soccer, Plainsmen Soccer, and Enid Pacer Soccer. And I appreciate my special guests, 2 high school seniors from Enid High School joining me today. To my far left, Camille Archer. Camille, good morning. Good to have you. And then Pedro Braga, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Pretty close. Okay, Pedro. Welcome. Both, again, our seniors play soccer at Enid High School. Right off the bat, Camille, what do you like about the team so far this year?
The thing I most like about our team this year is probably just how close we've gotten. It's more like a family instead of a team. Like, we're all for each other, we all support each other, and we all have a passion for the game. So when we get out on the field together, it feels like I'm playing with my family and not just a soccer team.
And you're a senior in high school, and you just told me just a few moments ago that you started playing soccer when you were 3.
Yes.
So I think you've had a few years to spend together to be that family, right?
Yes, yeah, we spend a lot of time together. We go through the tough stuff, we go through the easy stuff. We've been through it all, so I really appreciate my team.
Well, Pedro, let's look on the other side of the soccer ball, if you will. On the men's side, on the boys' team, what do you guys need to work on?
I think there's always something we can improve on, but of course, I think the number one thing we need to focus on right now is our communication. I think that's going to allow us to be a great team and not just a good team. Because, I think we have the potential to go to playoffs and make a playoff run. And I think if we get that communication down, we can do so.
Well, I was looking forward to this interview because I'm not that well versed on soccer. I'm kind of old school, where it wasn't a big deal or at all when I was in school. But I appreciate the talent and the skills when you see on television some of these contests. Just incredible, the skill level for these individuals. To explain to our viewers, Camille, about the game a little bit, You mentioned you were on the defensive side of the ball or
Yes,
defensive play.
yeah.
Just kind of explain your position and really the skill set that you need.
Well, as a defender, it's a lot actually, a bit different from the offense, because
Okay.
offense, you focus on scoring and it's all about putting the ball in the net. As defender, you're trying to keep the other team from doing that. So it's a lot of communicating with your other defenders and the goalie. It's a lot of just staying with your eye on the ball. I wouldn't say it's harder, but it's definitely more of a different mindset, as in I have to focus on my half of the field and not the offensive half.
So would you say that the communication is different between the defensive side of the ball versus offensive? Or
Yeah, a little bit, because offensive, it's always about getting open. You're like,
Okay.
where am I, like, with the goal? In defense, it's like, how quickly can I clear this ball? Where's my offense players? Who's behind me if I have cover? All that stuff.
Okay. Pedro, how about you on the men's team? Your position and the skill set that it takes to really excel in that opportunity.
In my position as a central midfielder, I do both parts of the spectrum. I defend, I attack, but for the most part, I distribute the ball, and I kind of decide where the ball goes, to who it goes, how it gets there. And I'm always in the play. If the ball's on the defensive side of the field or the offensive side of the field, I'm always there. Usually, like a defender, if the ball's in the attacking third, they're kind of just sitting back, and they're still always in the game, but not as much as a midfielder. And I enjoy it a lot because I enjoy being always a part of the game.
Does that mean you're the center of attraction, being in
Yeah.
that particular portion of the field?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you were talking about family, Camille, a little bit, that it's more so than a team because you've spent so much time together. And I want to ask both of you the differences or similarities of playing soccer in Enid versus an Oklahoma City, Tulsa, large metropolitan area. Camille, I'll start with you. Is there a difference, you think?
I think there is, because, well, number one, in those bigger schools, you have a lot more people to choose from for your teams. And in Enid, we're not a small school, but we're not as big. So we all basically know each other. And so you know who's on your team, and you know where they come from, and you know their families. So it makes you feel a part of something bigger than just a little segment of a huge team.
Pedro, let me ask you this in regard to Oklahoma City and Tulsa soccer. When you go to these areas to play, are there particular schools that seem to be stronger than other schools? You know, like Jenks and Union have a tradition in 6A football, a so-called powerhouse. How about when it comes to soccer? Are there...
Oh yeah, there's certain teams when they're on our schedule, we all think, oh man, we got to play them. But
And who would that be?
I think Jinx and Tulsa Union, they're
Okay.
the powerhouses, and of course we enjoy playing those big teams because we rise
sure.
above to
Sure.
the occasion. But yeah, like you said, going to those places, they're always going to be good, and they're always going to come out.
And Broken Arrow is probably one of those, but then again, at Broken Arrow, the largest school in the state, there's probably a few kids or students who come out and play soccer. So there is that difference. Camille, let me ask you, what's the best thing about playing soccer? And it doesn't have to be for the Pacers, but just since you've been doing this since 3 years old, you undoubtedly have had a good time with this, but what's the best thing about it?
Personally, for me, the best thing is I have a lot of stuff going on in my life. I'm usually very stressed, and when I step on that field, it's like everything goes
Okay.
away, and I just have to focus on the game and my teammates and just winning, and it's just an awesome experience.
You said stress. Does that mean you have too many things on your schedule?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you step on the field and you feel relaxed, you feel focused, and you're running around or defending the ball. So that just kind of gets rid of the stress, huh?
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Okay. Pedro, how about you? What's the best thing? When we'll play the word association game with you. When I say soccer, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Laughing.
Laughing?
Yes.
I thought you would say running or something.
No.
Every time I'm watching it on TV, everybody's always moving either full speed this way or full speed that way. So you say laughing, okay? Explain that, please.
I enjoy it because I'm always laughing when I'm on the field. Of course, there's times where I get frustrated as well, but my mindset on the field is just fun. It's always fun for me. It can get stressful, but it's always fun all the time. And when I'm with my friends, I'm always laughing and they're laughing, and that's when we really play well, is when we're all having fun. And I think that's the best part is about sports in general, is just having fun.
Let's talk a little bit of academics, since you are in school and a senior. So you're laughing, you're having fun when you play soccer, but on the academic side of things, what's your favorite subject and things like you study? Pick one. You didn't have to be truthful. Just pick any subject. No.
I like the sciences. Like right now, I like my physiology class.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
Okay. So future plans for Pedro after high school? What are you thinking?
Go to college and get into a degree in pre-medicine, and then see where it goes from there.
Okay. Sounds pretty serious there. So you'll probably need to stay on the soccer field to deal with the stress. Where's soccer going to play in your life after graduation?
Hopefully it'll get me a scholarship somewhere and help me with that. But I'm always going to be involved with soccer because I can't imagine my life without it. I mean, it's been a part of my life since I was little, and to get rid of it after high school, it's not an option. So it's always going to be a part of my life.
And I've heard that before, when people are involved in a particular sport since grade school days or whatever, they're going to find a way to keep that incorporated into their life. Camille, let me ask you, in regards to the academics, is there any specific class that you like here as a senior?
As a senior, definitely my English class.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my AP language class, and just the books we read and how we debate, it's very interesting.
Okay, and so for future plans for you, graduation, and can you imagine, what are we looking at, 3-4 months away or something?
Oh my goodness, definitely college, and I'd love to major in psychology.
And how about soccer? Will it stay close to you as well?
I'm not going for a scholarship in soccer, but I can't imagine not playing it, so I'll probably try and walk on to a team.
Okay. And I guess intramural would be an option if you're unable to play in the high competitive level, that you'd be able to play that. Is there any, as a player, is there any misconceptions or anything that you want to clarify about soccer to the viewing audience? Maybe they're like me. They'll watch it on TV. They don't know that position, but they know what scoring means and how the defensive player is working. But is there anything that you could kind of share with the audience that's not well schooled in soccer to explain a key part of the game?
I think one of my friends, he's a football player, and he asked me, and we were talking about sports one day, and I said something about positions in soccer, and he said, "There's positions," and I go, "Yeah, of course, it's all organized." And I think that's one misconception that people get, is it's a bunch of people running around, but it's really not. There's always a method to the madness, and there's organized positions, and there's a job for everybody, and I think that's what people get wrong, is that it's just a bunch of people running around.
That's a great answer, and I appreciate you sharing that, because you can view some of the games on TV thinking, man, they're just running in circles and they're running left and right and up and down. But you're right, everybody has a particular role, and if everybody does their job, it's going to be a lot easier to score. Is there anything, Camille, that you could add to that?
I've talked to a few people, and they always have to mention the fact that soccer, you only score a few times. And it's like basketball, you get up to 80 points or whatever. In soccer, you have like 2 or 1 or 3. And just something, it's like the value of the goal. It's not how many you can get, but like what you can get in the amount of time that you're given. And I wouldn't want to have 80 goals if they weren't worth the one that we scored that was good. So
very good answer. Well, my special guest today, representing Enid Pacers soccer and also Plainsmen soccer, is Camille Archer, and then Pedro Braga, both high school seniors here at Enid High School. Well, thank you both for stopping by the ETN studios. And besides the bright lights, this was okay, right?
Yeah.
Now you know what they say about, you're in the bright lights. Well, it's lighting for a reason, but it's also highlighting your individual. So I wish you well as you finish your senior year, and it sounds like you have a game plan. I can't say that when I graduated from high school, I had a game plan, but it sounds like both of you do, and thank you for stopping by here today.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we'll have more with the coach and some closing comments right after this. And thank you for staying with us today. I really enjoyed, Coach, meeting the two students that you brought, Kime and Pedro. They seem like great athletes, and they also seem like great student athletes. I appreciate you bringing them to the studio today. Why is soccer on the rise? And you can start in Enid and then talk more here in the U.S. Why is it on the rise, you think?
Well, the thing about it is number one, girls and boys can play it very competitively. It's one of those things too that also doesn't require a lot of money. If you go play golf, hey, guess what? You're going to have to shell out some money. Yeah. If you're playing tennis or football with all the equipment that you have to wear. Soccer, hey, listen, if I've got a pair of shin pads and a ball, I'm good to go. And so,
a halfway decent pair of shoes
halfway,
so I can turn.
Right, exactly. But it's very low cost. Yeah. And also one of the big things that I know that's really drawing kids is that it doesn't require size. The best player in the world right now is 5'6", and Lionel Messi. And so it's something that I could be a small or average sized kid and still be a phenomenal player, whereas in basketball, football, obviously, you're going to get recognized for your speed, for your God-given talent, whereas here I can be an average athlete, but if I can do something special with the ball, man, you can be a phenomenal player and get a college scholarship.
I remember the days as a kid growing up in Perry, Oklahoma, out in the driveway, and my basketball goal was nailed to a tree. Okay, right. That's how sophisticated it was. But in the evenings, after homework, I'd go out in the driveway and I'd shoot baskets till it was dark, and then the street light would come on and I'd still shoot a little more. But it was that independence. I could be out there by myself and shoot basketball. And every once in a while, I'd drive by throughout the Enid community, you'll see a kid. He's got a soccer ball, and he's bouncing it off his knee, his foot. Right. There's that independence, but yet it's not like when you play catch, you got to find somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
But in soccer, you can get outside and run around and kick the ball and do things like that. So I think that kind of promotes a little, not being an individual, but it promotes activity that you don't need somebody else to join you to do.
And it's also, of course, something that we have seen our nation have some success in. Obviously, our women just won the World Cup this past year. And that's something that's pretty cool to be able to compete nationally in a sport in which you don't see that a lot more of. Football and basketball are more in our own nation. We do compete obviously in Olympics and things like that, but in soccer, to be able to compete nationally and then to have our women do such a good job, and of course our men are also competing now on a very high level nationally or internationally. It's cool to see that and to want to kind of be a part of something like that.
Well, Coach, just a few moments ago, I asked your student athletes some misconceptions, and they shared some great answers with me. From a coaching perspective, what are some misconceptions about the game of soccer?
I think the idea that you kind of just run around and kick the ball is really completely opposite of what you really do. The kids do that obviously naturally at a very young age, but the more we grow and the more we understand the game, it is a very organized game, in which case you have to play your position and you have a formation, as we talked about earlier, in which we're pushing up and have an offensive attack, a defensive approach, all those things that are very much organized, planned, trained for. You have, of course, what are called set pieces. If you get a foul, you set up plays to run those things. When we get corner kicks, we set up plays very much like an offensive football player. I mean, you're setting up a play in which you're, even screening for people, and making moves, running routes, those kind of things in order to receive a ball and hopefully get a score. So it is very organized, and it has to be if you're going to be an elite soccer team.
And it seems like even like in football, if the play works, we planned it that way
absolutely. That's absolutely right.
All the time. Now, I will admit, Coach, that my 8-year-old grandson they're running in circles.
They are. Yeah, it's a cluster, and it's
They
got
run
all
over
together.
to see mom. They run back out there to kick the ball, and they run to go get a drink or
That's
whatever.
right.
But I just appreciate the fact that my grandson is just active. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Besides-
and they love it. I mean, you go out on Saturday to a soccer complex, and there are 500 kids out there having a blast.
And my final question, Coach, speaking of the soccer complex, for the folks watching our show today, they want to come out and watch the Enid Pacers, the girls team, or the Plainsmen, the boys team. When, how, and what's the best way to find out when they're going to play and where at, and things of this nature?
The paper will put out our schedule. I'm supposed to actually talk with the paper here pretty soon and have a schedule put out in the paper. And then, of course, you can go to our athletic website at Enid Public Schools and get our schedule, which is there on the athletic website.
Because we certainly want folks to come out and watch and support both teams. And Coach, I think you said the season got underway the 1st of February, but it can go all the way to May.
Right.
And then, depending on the success, can go a little further, right?
Right. Yes, we should be able, hopefully, to be playing through to mid-May and close the year out with some good wins.
Very good. Yeah. Coach, thanks for stopping by
thank
the
you so
studio
much for
today. And our special guest today, Matthew Loafman, again, is the head coach for men and women's soccer at Enid High School. He's also the assistant principal and also assistant football coach. So if you see him on the sidelines football game, you say, yeah, that's the soccer guy too. Right. So we'll keep us updated, Coach.
Thank you.
I appreciate the work that you're doing and investing in these young men and women. And thanks for bringing the athletes that you did.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
Okay. And thank you for joining us today as we talked about Enid Soccer. And until next time, make it a great day.